Hey guys, so today I got another game to analyze, and it's from Team Välfärd, playing on King's Row, and we're starting off with defending. We're using a Genji Tracer combo to deal with any backline, and a Diva to deal with any aerial stuff like Pharah or Widow and so on. The enemies are playing with a dive, and going into the game here, you're gonna see that we let them punish us and sort of lose the point in very unnecessary ways. So speeding up here, take some picks, playing a bit aggressive here, and you'll see that our tracer is right in the cinema right now on balcony. She's gonna attempt to bomb a Zen here, which will not be very effective, even if she would get killed, because it's gonna save us 10 seconds and then Zen is gonna respawn and go back inside. Or it probably was even for Pharah, but regardless of who she would kill, it would just save us 10 seconds. So right here, the Winston used his bubble, which means all we gotta do is fall back, let them waste their cooldowns, and then engage on them. So they used Pulse Bomb here, a Reinhardt dies, and they basically just clean up everyone else because there's not much to take cover from when it comes to the Pharah zone. Our Diva, let's back up here a bit. So you can see here that our Diva was focusing on um, using defense matrix and DPSing on the Winston and Genji, while instead it would have been better to be on the Pharah, as you will see here. So the Pharah kills off the Tracer, then the Pharah goes for the Genji, and Litron just cleans up. So in this moment, we're preparing to go back on a point, which is kind of risky since it's capped up around 66% here. And trying to retake a point at 66% means that if you lose the point, it allows the enemies to basically move in on the street space and push up our spawns, and setting a boundary to where we are able to to contest the payload, meaning that they get free push. So let's go back here a bit. Okay, so we engage here. They use beat. We use beat as well. We shouldn't have used beat here because this is already a lost fight. You can see here that they're pushing us away from the point, and we're using defensive ultis. We're not to be able to retake the point even with defensive ultis, meaning that we also have like 10% left to cap until they cap the point. So at this moment, it was a misplay to use that many ults like the Diva ult and the Lucio ult, since the enemies will just farm up their ults, and we gotta have them for when we wanna stop the snowball in in the street phase. So they kill us, they move up. As you can see here, they try to hold us off any forward spawns just to set a boundary, like here, for example, so that we can't contest early on. And since we used tons of ultis last fight, we were at a disadvantage, and they can just roll over us. So you see here, by them pushing up, they create a zone where if we step outside of this zone, we run the risk of just getting engaged on or picked by any Winston or Brodog and so on. So the problem to the street phase was because we took that engage on the first point, which allowed the enemies to snowball on us. And once they snowball, it's really hard to reset and basically reset the ultimate differences between the teams and so on. Okay, so we're taking a fight here. They used. Let's see what ultis were used. Okay, so going into this fight, we have Pulse Bomb and Genji Blade coming up. They have Genji Blade and Winston ulti. So they use Bubble, we jump in with our Winston, and since they have their Winston here and Tracer here, distracting the rest of our team, it means that our Winston will be completely alone, and he will be dealt with within seconds, and then yeah, basically either pushed away like he is now and then killed. It's a fight we shouldn't have won, but we managed to stall it a bit and then just to punish their mistakes here, as you'll see. So putting a bit slower speed. We have Mendo here trying to kill the Rodog. A pretty nice Div ulti. And then basically what we do is we're committing about 3 ultis. Our Genji dies, but his cooldown doesn't get used since he died before the animation finished. So essentially we use 2 ultis to win that fight. And at this point we have a really similar ult difference. So you can see here that the enemy team is running Roadhog and Winston, and running these two are pretty weird because you want something to help the Winston, and here you want something to help the Winston, and a Roadhog isn't gonna help the Winston. Instead, you should have like a Diva or a Zarya that dives with him, or I don't know. The Roadhog isn't really doing that much since Tracer and Genji will be running in a small squad together, and if Winston goes together with Genji and Tracer, it leaves Lucio, Ana, and Rodog open for anything. However, we take some really risky fights up here. You'll see. There's no reason for us to be up here. Absolutely no reason. We get picked off and just wasting another 10 seconds. Okay, so they use Genji Nano. Let's see if it was Nano as well. Okay, so Genji Nano, charging up Nano again. Wait 1 second. I'm unsure if it was Nano. So we get picked here. Okay, so it's only Genji Blade. We don't have any defensive ultis, unfortunately. Okay, so we use everything here. We basically use defensive Lucio ulti. We use Nano and Genji, and we're gonna use the Monkey ulti since basically, if we don't get value off the Genji and Nano, they're gonna be able to hook the Winston and just kill him. But we didn't use the ulti though, so it just means that they got the point easier than they should have. Faster. Okay, so we managed to stall this out for some reason. They're setting up for another fight. They have a soldier now instead of the tracer. Oh, we have a Reinhardt as well. Since we used the Winston ulti, we switched to Reinhardt just because of a stronger kit. However, they have Nano Genji, as you can see here, meaning that he just melts through our backline and makes it a bit harder for us to stall it out. So unless we can get some really good stalling here, we're gonna lose the point. And the same would be if they used Nano and Soldier ulti. So going into the second round, we have, let's just let it play it a bit. Okay, so we have Pharah Mercy. 1 second. So we have Pharah Mercy, Winston and Diva, and Tracer Lucio. So what will happen is that Diva, Winston, and Tracer will run in. They will dive. They will handle the dive basically, while Pharah and Mercy just sort of stay in the back and not take the tension, so to say, and letting Winston, Diva, and Tracer handle diverting the enemy's attention. Okay, so let's see here what happened. Okay, so we move into point. We have Tracer up here. This is a wrong move by Winston and Diva. They shouldn't be running into the house, because when they run into the house, it means that the enemies will be able to focus everyone else outside of the point here. As you see, like the Roadhog just pulled down the Pharah and killed her. And now it means that our dive, our whole comp basically is just rendered useless, since we have to fall back, stall out, and reset. Otherwise, if we engage like we did now, we're just gonna end up dying. And even though we get a kill, they get 1 kill on us, and they farm up ulti charges, which are more powerful than our ulti charges. For example, like Soldier, Nano, and so on. So we get a nice pulse bomb on Lucio, meaning that they don't have any defensive ulti. And after that, we just go all in, take the point, and clean up. And as you see here, we do the exact same thing as we always do. We push up, meanwhile we defend, we cap the point, and making sure that the enemies can't run back and contest the point. Even if you get 1 kill while pushing up like this, it's gonna make that the enemies have backspawn, meaning that they can't spawn in the subway here. They're gonna spawn in the furthest away spawn, and just giving us the advantage of having more people to fight with and getting free push. So let's see, we stay outside the streets, get picked. They engage on us here, taking really aggressive positions, pretty much like trying to spawn camp. The downside of spawn camping like this is that if you die right here, you're gonna end up in the furthest away spawn, and as I said before, just allowing the second point for free basically. There's no point this thing. That's why they retreated, because they can't hold here, and it's really disadvantageous to hold there. Instead, you wanna hold here, like the enemies stand here. You wanna hold right at the choke, or right at the curve here. So we get some really nice bumps by Mendo. Then Diva cleaning up more kills, and yeah, taking a nice fight. So for the second fight, for the fight here at close to the second point, we have the enemies having 4 ultis and us only having 1 defensive ulti. So the key here is to use to make something called a dry run, which means that we take a fight without using any ultis, and the sole purpose is to bait out any enemy ultis, and that's to reset the ulti difference so that we get on a similar level in the amount of ultis available. So they use the Roderick ulti. They don't get any kills with the Roderick ulti. Instead, after that they use the Lucio ulti and then Ana ulti, while we use the defensive Lucio ulti. So we only used 1 ulti here, while they used 4. And since we took a really smart fight here, I'll show right in a second. Okay, so let's play in slow motion. You see, we use the Diva to cover everything from the Rodog. The enemies notice that they don't get any value, so they want to push any further. They attempt a pin for some reason. It's really bad to go for a pin here, because as soon as you have started a pin with Reynard, you open up the defense for their backline. So they're forced to use the Lucio barrier for this reason. Now they have the soldier and Ana as well, and a nano boost. So just because they use the defensive ulti, they want to make sure that they get the kills as well, so they use the combo. However, we use our Lucio barrier to negate the Ana soldier ulti, as well as using Diva Matrix. So we kite them back around the corner and just leaving them here, basically rendering them useless. And as soon as their ultis are over, we go back into the fight, retake it, and clean up the enemies. A really nice fight, since we had such a big ulti disadvantage. Okay, so we're gonna use Ana plus Genji. Even though they got a kill on Tracer, it's all fine since we can melt through their team with this combo. As you see, Genji got 3 kills, that's more than enough value. As long as we manage to clean up or not get completely wiped out, should we should have been favored in the outcome there. However, we get an unlucky Earth Shadow on us, which means that the enemies we basically lined up pretty well for the Genji here. You'll see in a second. So as soon as the Earth Shadow comes here, you'll see we're all lined up here, and the Genji can just dash through and get free damage on us, as well as an easy sword. However, they used 2 ultis there to, they even used beat. So they used 3 ultis to contest the point there. So we get an important kill on the Lucio. We use beat. Now we should be able to take the point basically. The Roadhog was nanoed and fell down, and yeah, that's it. We basically executed it really clean and punished their mistakes. However, we got some mistakes punished by them as well, and such is life. Like you can't always win every game, and in high level Overwatch, in most cases it's about limiting the mistakes you make and just capitalizing. Punishing enemies on their mistakes, so to say. Because it's really hard to stop any snowballing like you saw in the second street phase when we first defended, and it's like on maps like Anubis, it's really easy to win on a single snowball. So yeah, that's King's Row, and thanks for watching.